What's up, Dollyverse? This is Gypsie. You're watching Broken Dolly TV, and this is the third installment of this epic sculpt study series that we're doing of all of the dolls sculpts that I have in my personal collection. You're not gonna find nothing like this on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. I try to give you guys some information about these different sculpts. Maybe you can build your own list of sculpts that you want to hunt down if you don't already have some, or maybe you already have some of these sculpts and you don't even realize it because you don't know which dolls you have in your own collection, like I didn't before I did this inventory. So in this episode, we're gonna go over 4 sculpts. Let's start with Steffie. So these are the 2 Steffie sculpts that I have in my collection, and just as a reminder for those of you who missed installment 1 and 2, which you should go back and watch, I'm only covering the dolls that I have 2 or more copies of in my collection for this particular series. We're gonna go over the dolls that I have single sculpts of later. These are some vintagey kind of sculpts that they're older sculpts that they revived for newer modern dolls. Here I have Marin, who is the Midge character from the Life in the Dream House series. And then this one here is Dorothea. They're 2 different skin tones. Dorothea is on a swapped out body. It's articulated but not made to move. And she's originally a Barbie look doll. So she did not come with articulation because at that time when they were making these Barbie look dolls, they didn't have articulated bodies yet. Marin here, she is from the Life in the Dream House series. Now, she actually has rooted eyelashes. You see the eyelashes there poking out? Yep, and she's got blue eyes, really cute freckles on her face. The way that you can tell the signature look for this head sculpt is from the lips. If you look closely, you'll see that they have these pudgy little lips, and they kind of look almost like they're like puckered a little bit. Also, a way to tell is from her, look at her gigantic forehead. Yeah, the forehead is humongous on these dolls. I don't know, I think they're really cute and friendly looking. I haven't really seen a version of this head sculpt that I didn't like, but it's not a sculpt that you see so much of these days. They're kind of hard to come by. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe Carlisle Nuetta, who's pretty good at listening to what the consumers are looking for, maybe he will revive one of these sculpts to use in a newer doll that he's working on. Maybe, I don't know. Marin, she's got a very, very pale skin tone, but it's not pale like made to move purple top yoga doll. It's more like the BMR 1959 boy doll with the red hair. If you guys own this doll, you know that he has a very pinkish skin tone, and he also has freckles. And I don't know, I was talking to one of my Dolly friends, Jen Dollhouse, about him, and we concluded that they might be brothers and sisters. They could be. They look very similar, and the skin tone match is very close, or even the same. Like to the naked eye, they look like they're the same skin color. And this is one of the hardest skin tones to match, you guys. There isn't like an influx of dolls that they're producing with the skin tone. So even though he's got a made to move body, I have no male dolls that can use this body. I wanted to get her a made to move body, but there were no female dolls that they've produced with that skin tone yet. We're just stuck with this body for her. This is her original body that she came with, but at least she came with articulation, so I don't really have to worry about her not having any joints for an indefinite amount of time. This one is more like a tan, very light-skinned skin tone, and she could also pass for Hispanic. The Steffie sculpt is really fun. She has a way of coming off really like playful, but at the same time somehow very posh. I don't know how that's possible, but she definitely gives off that vibe to me personally. That's why I really like the Steffie sculpts. When I see other dolls with Steffie sculpt, if I'm out shopping, I definitely plan on getting more, because 2 is just not enough. They're so different looking, even though they're very similar. And they just, I don't know, I think Steffie always looks like she has some kind of a personality. Marin over here, she's supposed to be like a really nice, sweet southern girl, kind of very feminine and gentle and soft-spoken. Dorothea here, I based her personality 100% on my paternal grandmother. A lot of her traits I gave to her was from things that I remember about my grandmom herself. For those of you who are familiar with any skits or scenes where you see this character being depicted, even the way she talks, I'm just totally impersonating my grandmom when I'm doing her. And my grandmother in real life, she was a singer, she was a nurse, She was really, really smart. She was obsessed with being clean and fit. Like, she was really obsessed with being skinny. I kind of made Dorothea like kind of anorexic because my grandmother, we used to joke around that she was anorexic because she would never eat, but she would like hoard food in her room and like stash it away, like not food, junk food, like donuts, candies, chocolates, soda. My grandmother used to hide food inside of her room. She would never let anybody have it, or she would act like it wasn't there. But she stayed really skinny, so we could not figure this out, you guys. So anyway, so we had this inside joke that she was probably closet anorexic because she would never let us eat anything. So that was where I got the idea for Dorothea's personality. I just thought it would be like a fun homage to my grandma. And Marin, her personality is not based on any particular person. I really love these two dolls, and I'm so glad I have them, and I totally would not trade them for anything. So I really love them. They're one of my favorites in my collection. Okay. These girls are the Pazette head sculpt, and this is, I want to say, I'm not going to say Pazette is one of my favorite sculpts, but it's one of the sculpts that I really like a lot for the ethnic face sculpts. I think it's a very authentic sculpt as far as the features looking a lot like real black women in real life. And speaking of real black women, this particular one, the BMR 1959 one, I named her Rosalie after one of my aunts because she reminds me of her. And I said one of my aunts. Well, I mean the only aunt that I have on my dad's side. And then this one here is Nola. She has a different skin tone, obviously. And the one here on the end is Israel. And she also has all three of them have different skin tones, you guys. I know they might look very similar, but this one is the lightest. This one's a medium brown. This one is a darker brown, and these two are wearing graphics that my son made for me for their clothes. So this one's just got broken Dolly on it. And they all have an open mouth smile, but because the teeth are not showing in a very noticeable way, it's very subtle, so I didn't feel the need to close their lips. Who knows, sometimes I just get experimental and I just want to try it, so I'll close up the lips on some of my dolls just to see what they look like. And I'll do that normally if it's a doll that I don't mind taking the risk of ruining the face if I don't end up liking it. I haven't really had that kind of feeling with any of these. I do have an extra one of this doll's head because I used her body for a donor, so maybe I'll try it out with that head just to see how she looks. And if I really love it, I might close all of their lips as well. But it's not that difficult to do, so go ahead and watch my tutorial on how to extract the teeth from your dolls if you want to close up their lips. And it works really good on the dolls that have bigger smiles. So Pazette is one of those sculpts that you're not going to see too often on the Playline level dolls. I want to say that the BMR 1959 collection is somewhat Playline-ish. That's like the cheapest tier of dolls that I've seen this head sculpt used on. It's not that often that we see these heads on the commonly available dolls. And like here, Israel, she is actually a Barbie look doll from the older waves where they didn't have articulated bodies. Yeah, she's got rooted eyelashes, and not really a big fan of the rooted eyelashes done by Barbie because to me they're just a little too thick, a little too they're just all up in your face. Sometimes I just cut them off or pull them out. I think I have some dolls that I just remove the eyelashes from altogether. But anyways, I happen to leave these ones alone. I had to interrupt this program real quick because I totally forgot to add one more Pazette sculpt that I have to this video. So this one is Rosalind. She is the Alasny doll by Stephen Burrows. And of course she doesn't have her original clothing on at the moment. And she does not have her original body. I believe I put her onto the Lieutenant Uhura body from Star Trek. She does have made to move articulation. And she has no hair. This is what it looks like underneath her big gold headdress when you take that off. And she's just bald with brown paint outlining her hairline. I think she would actually make a really good candidate for a reroot session when I ever find the patience to do so. Eyelashes are applied, but they're like one side is like coming off, so I might end up having to just pull them off completely. This side over here is the way that they're supposed to look. Yeah, but I don't know why I completely forgot to put this doll onto my inventory for the Pazette sculpt. I will tell you guys though, with this doll, since I've had this doll, she's continually oozing some kind of liquid from inside of her head. I want to say it's maybe a glue or a gel of some sort. I don't know why they would have done that. I don't know what the function of this liquid would have been inside of her head. No matter how many times I like wash it off, she still leaks goo. That is the weirdest thing. I don't know what that's all about. So I just wanted to tell you guys, for those of you who are interested in this doll, she's very pretty, but just keep in mind that there's something weird going on inside of her head. Okay, back to the rest of the video. You should be able to recognize them mainly by the shape of their nose. It's almost like a upside down, like, I don't know, they're kind of like triangular, the tip of the nose. This is the side view of the doll. They're a little harder to recognize if you don't know what to look for in the facial sculpts. So that's why I wanted to do this sculpt study, because it's a way for us to get more familiar with the features of the dolls, because once the face up is done, sometimes they look almost unrecognizable when you put them side by side with other dolls that have the same head sculpt. And of course, depending on how the mold was done, sometimes even the same sculpt, the shape of the head will look totally different. Like for me, it looks like her face is more wider this way and her face is longer this way, but it is the same sculpt. You know, if you didn't know to look for those subtle things about the sculpt that make them stand out, then you may not necessarily recognize them. And this is a sculpt that I think people get mixed up a lot with some of the other faces. I just love that all three of them are so different looking, even though they are the same sculpt. That's like the best thing for me, is when I have multiples of the same sculpts, but they're, you know, they don't look like twins of each other. They go out of their way to make the facial features very different looking, so they do look like different characters. Nola here, she used to be I want to say she's a birthday wishes doll or she's a holiday Barbie. It's one or the other. I'll try to remember which one it is and put it up on the screen for you guys, and so you can figure out if this is a doll that you're interested in adding, or maybe you already have this doll in your collection and you didn't even know it. Okay, this definitely is one of my favorite sculpts that Mattel produces. So this one is called Carnaval, and she's also known as Leann because the first Carnaval sculpt was used for the Leann Rimes Barbie, who's supposed to look like the singer. And Carnaval, that name stuck after the Carnival doll Brazil, which is this one, and she just kind of popularized this sculpt, so that's where the name came from. So we have two different names for her. Either one is correct. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can use them interchangeably. My Carnaval doll, I happened to close her mouth because this was one of the ones I wanted to experiment on to see how she would look without the teeth showing. And she actually had a big mass of curls on her head when I originally got her. But at the time, the curls were very distracting to me. I could not style them properly. I couldn't style the doll the way that I wanted to. So I ended up just box braiding all of her hair up. Kind of like how my hair is right now. Yeah, and I do like box braiding my doll's hair because it's very relaxing for me when I do it. So it just, you know, it's just a way for me to interact with my dolls and just pass the time playing with their hair. And she is on a made to move body. Her original body was that old school snap bend knee type body, and she didn't have much articulation at all, and I didn't like it. And she happens to be on an orange top Complexion's body. So that's the skin tone that she is, and she has her original makeup on, except for the really glittery parts that were all over her eyes. I have a little bit of glitter left there on the sides that I decided not to erase. But bro, like, this was a freaking challenge getting this stuff off of her face. I cannot use regular acetone like we normally do to get that stuff off. I don't remember what I used, but one of my viewers who had this doll gave me a pointer on how to get rid of it, because he had the same doll and he did it too. So that's how I ended up figuring out how to get this stuff off. But I'm glad that I did it because I like her a lot better without all that flashy, sparkly stuff all over her face. And this was one of the dolls that, though I did close her mouth up, I did not end up repainting her lips. So this is the exact lip color that she had when I purchased her. And her makeup was very over the top because she's supposed to look like she's in like a festival, a carnival, right? So this is Elise, that's the name that I gave to her. This one is Eden Vegas. Eden is my absolute favorite version of Carnaval of all time. She was originally the FAO Schwartz toy soldier doll, and there's two versions of that doll, blonde one and this brunette one, and I decided I wanted the brunette one. And she's just so like playful looking. She looks so happy, and this one, I absolutely don't mind her big smile and her teeth showing, and I love her side glancing eyes. Her eyes to me are more unique because they're not just looking to the side, but they're also looking up and to the side. So she's really cool to take pictures of, pose in different ways. Of course, her stiff FAO Schwartz body was not going to work. The toy soldier body is like molded to look like it's saluting you, and I didn't want her for the toy soldier look. I just wanted her head. So I got her from Amazon at the time. I don't know how much she is now, but she's probably way more pricier than she was when I bought her. I think she was even on sale when I got her. I don't think I spent more than $20 on that doll. I put her head onto a made to move purple top body. This one is Zazie, who I named after one of my girlfriends, Zazie, and she is really cute. Let me show you her hair. So this one was the one that was I think she was a birthday wishes doll, and she had like that cool looking swoop on the side of her head with her bangs, which I loved. And then I ended up taking down her ponytail, and I don't know why, but for some reason the long hair on this doll didn't sit right with me. I don't know. I think I was just bored with it because my other Carnival dolls also have long hair, so it just didn't look unique enough. So I ended up cutting her hair and then straightening it and kind of just like gave her this short style, like a layered look. I like her better with the shorter hair. I haven't decided if I want to go even shorter than this, but for now, she's okay. And then I didn't close her mouth either because I don't mind her smile. This is probably the only sculpt with a big smile that I do not mind looking at it. It doesn't creep me out. It doesn't seem weird. She just has a look where she just looks very friendly and playful, so the smile seems like it goes with the personality that this sculpt brings. But I really do like her a lot. Though they're the same sculpt, you can distinguish one from the other. Their face-ups are all quite different, and they all have baby hair, but this one is the only one that came with baby hair. These two, I drew them on myself. Yeah, that's just a coincidence. Let me know if you have any questions about these dolls. These dolls, originally, they did tend to use these more on like the, harder to find dolls, but lately, I want to say that I've seen quite a few fashionistas with this head sculpt in the earlier waves of the dolls. Not like the most recent waves, but just a few years back, they were using Carnival head sculpts on some of the fashionistas. There was one that I had bought, but I ended up returning the doll because she had a gaping bald spot in the middle of her head, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it, so I had to get rid of it. This one here, Zazie, she is on a wave 2 Teresa head sculpt yoga made to move doll with the blue top shirt. She is like a orangey tan kind of skin tone. Lastly but not leastly, we've got the Claudette head sculpt, not to be mixed up with Pazette. Claudette, originally it was used for a Harlem Theater Claudette, which was designed by my favorite Carlisle Nuetta, one of our Barbie doll designers. And there's a lot of firsts in the Harlem Theater collection, so shout out, because that collection brought us Claudette, it brought us Lavinia, and it brought us Selma Dupar James, one of my ultimate favorite head sculpts. Shout out to Carlisle for that, and I can't wait to see what else he's going to bring to us in the future. But Claudette was also used after that for some of the higher end dolls, like this one here, Sonata. She's originally a holiday Barbie. I literally only got her for her head, so she's been removed from her original body and put onto a made to move body so she can have full articulation. I pierced her ears so she can wear some earrings, and I do have a tutorial on a very simple method of piercing your doll's ears and creating earrings for them if you want to go and check that out. And she's wearing one of our Clone shirts. Clone is one of our, our make-believe doll brands that I had my son design for me for my Dollyverse. I love Claudette's face because it's just so angular. Like, she's got a very distinct jawline, very distinct cheekbones. And the best thing ever is her lips. Her lips are so juicy. I really, really like this doll, and I actually only had this one for a long time until I added this BMR 1959 doll, and she's the one with the purple space buns. She's actually on her original petite made to move body. She's got a very deep skin tone. This skin tone is quite similar to this Pazette Sculpt's skin tone. Very similar, dark chocolate. But as you can see, there's a slight difference in the way that the shine, I guess, of the body looks. She still looks a lot deeper in hue than this one does. So I don't think that they could be interchanged for body donors, but I thought it was pretty interesting that they're very close in color like that. So Sonata is on a orange top body. She is the same skin tone as like the very light-skinned brown bodies. Oh, and also what's different about these two face-ups is that this version here, they're doing something different with the screening of the dolls now, where they're printing the face in a different technique than what they normally use. The overall finished product has a different feel to it, and to be honest, I like this version better because it's much easier to see details from a distance, whereas with her face, this one is, I named her Bunny. Bunny's face, when the light shines on it a certain way, you can't really see all of the details that good. It just doesn't look as clear in HD to me. So I don't know, that's why I'm not really that big of a fan of how they did the screening for these newer dolls. I hope they go back to the way that they normally would do them. I don't really know how else to explain it, but I mean, you see all the shine when you tilt the face. I don't really like that. It looks kind of weird when you are looking at them through the camera lenses. The doll artist in me is very tempted to strip off the artwork and repaint the faces, but because I do think that it's cute the way that she looks already, I'm gonna leave her alone for now until I really can't stand it anymore. She came with these little purple baby hairs around the edges of her hair. So cute. And I changed her hair texture by straightening it. I did this on camera for you guys so you can see what I did, but I didn't want her to have those big space buns anymore, so I took them down and I straightened her hair so I could restyle the hair. And I love her hair. I love her hair color. My favorite thing about her is her little petite body. I'm really happy that I added this one to my collection. I plan on getting a few more later when I have some extra money to spend, just for backup body donors for future dolls with this same skin tone that I might want to put on a petite body. And she even has little painted fingers. Look at her little hands. They're like painted purple, and just her whole body dimension is just tiny and cute and adorable. I really like it a lot. If you guys are trying to find body donors for like maybe your Skipper dolls friends or something, you might want to consider using petite made to move doll bodies for that. Of course, there's not a whole bunch of them. There's this one, and I believe the Yara Shahidi doll also comes with a petite body, and she's got the same skin tone as her. I don't know how available that doll is. Like I said, these dolls, they don't tend to use them on the play lines like that with the made to move bodies and the specific head sculpt combinations, but it is what it is. Maybe you'll come across one in a thrift store or somebody selling one on eBay without the clothes on. Who knows? You never know. So in this episode, we covered Claudette, we covered Steffie, we talked about Carnaval / Leann Rhyme, and we also looked closer at Pazette. Which of these head sculpts do you guys like the best and why? Which ones do you have in your collection, and what do you need to add to your collection? Let me know in the comments, because I love to hear you guys' take on everything. If you have any questions about these particular head sculpts, then the comment section is where you want to leave those questions, and I will get to them and try to answer your questions as the best that I can. If I don't know the answer, then I will try to look up the information for you or try to find you a resource where you can get that information from. Alright, so that's it for today. Check out the merch shop if you guys want to check out some of Ginu's designs that he made specifically for us to wear. And I will see you in the next installment. So we're already at installment 3 and we got 4 more to go, you guys. So stay tuned. Add this playlist to your account so that you don't miss anything that I upload over here. And we'll see you in the next one. I'm Gypsy. Follow me on social media and like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a Dolly day.